Hey everyone, What If Fan here, bringing you another exciting part of What If Karmic Gacha system in Modern Family World. You can find the fanfic title and the original author's name on my Patreon page. Make sure to check it out and show them some love. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. Alright, let's jump into it. Chapter 431, starting 2013. Edward POV. It was always fun when the new year came. People made resolutions that they knew they would give up on in just a few days. The gym was filled with people. The overwhelming desire to start something new. Inside my house, my past life memories suddenly flooded back as I sat on the couch. Before I could react to the memory, there was something else that attracted my attention. Annie was puckering up and closing her eyes as she waited for me to kiss her. She wore a choker and a blue one-piece dress. Huh! How did this happen? I was surprised. Annie kept inching closer to get to my face. I quickly investigated my memory. First, after getting back from camping yesterday, I took a shower and decided on the performer list for the concert. After that, I went to Cuba for a bit to check up on my mother. I spent several hours there and returned home. Annie came at almost midnight, drunk out of her mind, and told me that since she wasn't a part of the girls who stayed at my place, nor was she my ex, she could still do what we used to do before. I didn't think much about her argument, since she showed me her lingerie after taking off her long jacket. Although, since she was drunk, I didn't do anything to her and just let her sleep in my house. This morning, she was embarrassed about what happened last night and wanted to leave, but I asked her to stay behind. I even told her that if she wasn't drunk, we would have done it, which made her more confident about staying. My grandmother left early this morning to meet some friends, so we had the whole place to ourselves. That's when we decided to mess around. When I remembered what happened, I shrugged and just reciprocated Annie's kiss. Wait. Are you wearing bubblegum lipstick? I smiled in amusement when I tasted her lips. Annie opened her eyes, slightly taken aback, and blushed. Why, yeah. Do you not like it? I didn't say that. I replied as I teased her slightly, grabbed her chin, and forced her to look at me. You know, you are pretty cute, I flirted. Want to properly be my girlfriend? Annie widened her eyes in shock, and she jumped off the couch, taking a few steps away from me. I was in shock. Annie stammered and said, No, no. I don't want to be your girlfriend. I thought we're just going to have sex. This cannot happen. She pointed at the both of us. Goodbye, she said loudly and then stomped away after grabbing her jacket again. I froze for a bit. Vader jumped onto the sofa and stretched her back. Then, she curled into a ball and lay down next to me. Finally, I snapped out of it. Wait. What the fuck just happened? That evening, I went to the Dunphys. Haley wasn't around since she had some work to do for her fashion company. Claire sipped some coffee and commented. At the very least, the second heartbreak made her more focused on her job. She has so many new ideas. I lowered my head slightly. Again, I'm really sorry about that. What? Messing with my daughter's heart, twice? Claire smirked. Her eyes were playful instead of angry. To be fair, she broke up with me the first time around, I said defensively. Claire's smile faltered a bit, and she leaned on the kitchen counter. Really? I shrugged, which made her exhale in bewilderment. Alex came into the kitchen wearing geometric patterned pajamas. I looked at her with disbelief and said, It's 3 in the afternoon. Shut up. I have an online class in the morning. Alex grimaced and poured some coffee for herself. Claire sighed and said, She's been in bed the entire time after you got back from the camping trip. Oh yeah? Finney is asking her out again and she rejecting him is making her depressed, I think. I commented as if she wasn't there. Alex grimaced and said, I'm not depressed. Honey, you haven't taken a shower since the camping trip, Claire said carefully. That explains the gamey smell, I added. Alex gasped in disbelief and rushed to her bed. I said loudly from behind, if you're taking a shower, remember to wash your hair too. It has so much oil in it, the United States is making plans to invade it. Claire looked at me with disbelief after I teased Alex. Phil walked to the kitchen and pulled his head away sulkily as he walked past me. He opened the fridge, took nothing, and then left again. What's with him? I asked. Claire sighed and said, I'm fine with it. I guess Phil isn't fine with you breaking up with his daughter. I quickly stood up from the stool and chased after Phil. Hey! P-Daddy! I'm so sorry! Claire laughed as she saw my exasperated face. I couldn't catch up with Phil as he had gotten into his car and driven away. I returned to the kitchen and asked Claire, how long do you think he's going to be mad at me for? I don't know. Claire shrugged. She smiled in amusement and said, frankly, you deserve it. Claire's commentary. It has been 3 days since Phil got mad. He kept quiet, he grumbled, and he was avoiding having a conversation with me. Claire sighed and said, I think it's really hot that he's sticking up for his daughter, but Edward is kinda like my son too. And he's also my boss. So I don't know which side to pick in this fight. Phil's commentary. Got mad because Edward broke up with Haley? Phil was confused. No, I'm mad because he went on a camping trip with his friend and forgot to invite me. A cut scene showed Phil talking to Edward about taking a camping trip in an RV, the same RV Edward used in his trip with his friend. It's supposed to be our trip. Me, Luke, Edward, and Manny. A boys' trip, where we will camp in the woods, hunt for food, and maybe we can even go fishing too, he said angrily and with disappointment. He forgot about it and chose to go with his friends instead. Commentary ends. I went to Alex's room after she took a shower and had changed into her casual clothes. Why are you here? Alex asked. Your mom sent me here to make sure you took a shower. She also gave me permission to wash you myself. I sighed in disappointment. But you decided to give yourself a bath without me. Alex rolled her eyes and threw a tissue box at me. Hey, don't get me wrong. I don't want to wash you. I'm only doing this because your mom said she would talk with your dad if I talked to you. Oh, really? So you're forced to put some soap on my naked body and run your hands on it? Alex said with sarcastic annoyance. Yeah. I don't want to do it. I played nonchalant, which pissed her off greatly. Also, I can use a brush. But if you want my hand, I can do that too. I teased. Alex growled and snapped. Get out of my room, Ed. Are you still sulking about Phineas? I asked as I sat on the edge of her bed. She was drying her hair with a towel, standing up. As she turned to me, she said, I'm not sulking. Sulking means I'm just a little pissed off at him, but eventually, I am going to forgive him. This is something different. Like you want to get even with him? I asked. Alex nodded and said, UHH. I just wish there's some way I can hurt him the way he hurts me. Well, your boyfriend breaking up with you solely for the fact that he wants to sleep with other women is a justified reason to crash out. Shut up, Newgate. Alex rolled her eyes and sat next to me. If you were me, what would you do? She asked. First, I would show a lot more cleavage all the time. Before I could finish, she punched me in the arm. It only hurt her hand instead of me. She winced in pain, shaking her hurting hand. What did you eat every day? Metal beams? Yeah. I down it with some jet fuel because that's how I can digest it. I teased. Alex raised an eyebrow in confusion. Jet fuel can't melt steel beams. She was horrified when she came to the realization of what I manipulated her to say. I inhaled exhilaratedly and laughed. You're horrible. She rolled her eyes again, but she laughed. I grinned and said, You know, if you really, and I mean really, want to hurt him back, there's something else you can do. In the kitchen, Phil and Claire sat there waiting for me to come down with Alex. And we did 15 minutes later. Hola! Edward! Gloria greeted me cheerfully and gave me a hug, pushing her baby bump onto me. I widened my eyes slightly in surprise. Gloria. I didn't expect to see you here. Yes. Claire called me to come and talk with Alex. But I guess I'm not needed now, Gloria said cheerfully. Alex narrowed her eyes at Claire. Phil looked at me and said, So, are you done consoling Alex? Oh, you're not mad at me anymore? I asked Phil, shocked. Gloria became quizzical and scolded. Phil. Why are you angry at Edward? You know how much he has done for your family? No, and oh. I'm not angry at him. I'm just disappointed that he invited his friends to go camping and forgot about our promise. Phil shook his hands, and his face was full of panic. I raised an eyebrow, face full of confusion. That's what you're mad about? Yeah, Phil replied casually. Claire rolled her eyes and then changed the subject. Alex, are you okay now? Claire asked. Alex shrugged and said, I think so. We came out with a plan upstairs. Oh, what plans? Phil was intrigued. I walked next to Alex and held her hand. We're going to be boyfriend and girlfriend. What? Claire, Phil, and Gloria were shocked. I stretched my hands up and placed my right one on Alex's shoulder, pulling her close to me. Yup. We're dating now. Alex decided to take revenge on her ex-boyfriend. And who is the better choice other than Mr. 8-pack billionaire over here? I said smugly. Claire slapped my hand away and held Alex roughly. She stared into her eyes and said, Alex! Are you crazy? Calm down. It's only a pretend relationship. Alex clarified. Phil and Gloria finally reacted, and smiles were creeping up their faces. Fake boyfriend and girlfriend, Gloria said. So you're going to make Phineas go crazy? Yup, Alex replied. Phil was a bit concerned. Alex, what about your sister? And your friends? Will you tell them or let them think it's real? I'll tell them, that's for sure, Alex replied. Claire sighed and said, I know you want to get even, but this may have an unrepairable effect on your relationships. Claire. The alternative is for Alex to date 10 different guys and sleep with all of them to get even with. Claire interrupted me and immediately said, The fake relationship. Definitely that. A fake relationship is the best choice. So, there's no objection? No, someone calling this plan a crazy plan? I asked, slightly disappointed. No. Gloria snapped, making everyone flinch. She walked towards me and yelled, This is not just a crazy plan. I was prepared to get scolded, but then she hugged me and said, This is a wonderful plan. I muttered with disappointment. Claire thought about it and said, Baby hormones. Alex agreed with her. Phil, however, freaked out immensely from the plan. So, we need some rules, Alex said as we returned to her room. I'm more interested in the fact that your dad doesn't see the irony of keeping us locked up in your room together when he didn't want us to be with each other, I said with amusement. Alex rolled her eyes and said, What irony? Nothing will happen between us, ever. I leaned back and said, Well, don't be so quick to say it. You should never tempt fate. Shut it, Newgate, she scolded me. All right, some obvious rules. First, you cannot kiss me. I'm fine with that, I agreed. However, what would you do if Phineas thought we were just faking and he wants to see us kiss? I mean, if it came to that, then just do it, Alex said with a little blush. Secondly, she took out a piece of paper, but I stopped her. Whoa. Do you really want some written evidence? That's usually how the fake relationship movie got its conflict. One way or another, someone will see it and find out. Alex contemplated it for a while. I should know she was really thinking since her eyebrows wiggled a lot, and she took almost an entire minute to decide. Fine. We're both smart people. We can just remember the rules. Ooh. Ooh. Let me guess the second rule. I raised my hand excitedly. Go on. Never fall in love with each other. Alex went silent again before she said, Yes. Fuck. This is a fake relationship movie. If we're going to do this, we need to make sure that it won't turn out to be like that movie. Is there a fake relationship plotline where it actually works? I thought about it and said, There's one with Joey and Monica, where they broke up a couple and took the spoils for themselves. Alright. From now on, you'll be Joey. Alex grinned. I don't want to be Joey. I whined. I'm more of a Chandler guy. Chandler ends up with Monica, you idiot. Alex scolded me. You don't have to be Monica. You can be Rachel or Phoebe. They don't really have a romantic relationship with Chandler. I tried to convince her. No. From now on, you're Kramer, and I'll be Ross. Alex said firmly. I'm sorry, but that's unacceptable. I won't ever be Kramer. I said firmly too. Suddenly, Gloria entered the room. She sensed the intense atmosphere when she saw us staring at each other intensely. What's this? Your first fight as a couple? Gloria asked. Alex blushed and snapped. We're not a couple. I don't care. Your father is calling for you, Gloria said to Alex. I tried to stand up, but Gloria said, Only Alex. That's fine. To be clear, I can hear everything you say downstairs from here, I said casually. Gloria widened her eyes and said, There's no way you could listen to that. I tilted my head lazily and said, Phil said I'm not making the same mistake as with my first daughter and letting him date Alex. Claire said they are just pretending. Then Phil said, How can Alex pretend when she's around him all the time? When they kiss for the first time, I'm sure this would be like a plot from every friends-turn-lovers rom-com where they realize they have feelings for each other the entire time. Yes. Yes. That's what Phil said. Gloria was excited. Alex blushed hard, her mouth agape. Then she quickly rushed out of the room and shouted, Dad! Don't speak! He can hear you! I turned to Gloria and asked, So how far along are you? 33 weeks? Gloria rubbed her pregnant stomach and said, Yes. Only 3 more weeks to go. Then the baby kicked. Ouch. What's wrong? I asked. Every time I said something about the weeks, he would kick me. Like he's afraid of getting evicted out of there. I rubbed Gloria's stomach and gave her some young energy to ease the pain. Hang in there, Joe. Joe? Gloria was taken aback. He's not Joe. He's Fulgencio Ramirez Pritchett. We're going to name him after my grandfather. No, he's going to be a Joe. Fulgencio Joseph, Joe, Ramirez Pritchett, I said casually. Gloria was taken aback, then looked upward slightly to think about the name and said, Okay. We can go with that. She asked. Did Jay tell you about it? No. I can see the future. And there's a pretty bad thing too. He's going to be born on the same birthday as Manny. K? Gloria estaba chaqueta. I didn't know why she trusted my words so much. Maybe it was the hormones making her brain all haywire. He would not do that to his own brother, Gloria said with a nervous smile. Gloria, I'm just joking, I told her. She sighed in relief and laughed out loud. Oh, Edward, you joke star, Suddenly, Gloria winces in pain as her belly starts having contractions. I took off my hand and said, Oh. Sorry about that. No, it's not you, it's... I. She winces again, holding her stomach this time. Her expression was full of fear. No. It can't be. We're only 33 weeks in, I said as I stood up quickly. Maybe it was the young energy I sent to her womb that was causing that, so I immediately held her stomach again and sent my energy into it to check. However, that just made her have another contraction. Edward. Joe is coming. CA, call Jay. Okay. I said nervously and just tapped on my smartwatch. Oracle immediately called Jay without me needing to say anything. It's fine. Gloria, the water didn't break yet. We still have some time to go to the hospital. I'm sure this is just Hickston Brick. I said. She grimaced and said, It's Braxton Hick. Oh wow. Maybe I'm more nervous than I thought. I said with a blank expression. Edward, keep holding to my belly. There's less pain when you do that. Gloria begged as her knees became weak and she fell to the floor in Alex's bedroom. Crap. I cursed and picked her up easily. Then I rushed her outside of the house in just 3 jumps. Claire, Alex, and Phil talked outside to prevent me from eavesdropping. When I ran outside with Gloria in my hand, they were all startled. Edward! What happened? Phil asked with concern and shock. The baby's coming early. I told them and put Gloria on the back of my car. Edward! Don't let Gio! Gloria yelled as I removed my hand from her belly. I didn't want to cut off the young chakra since it was easing her pain, so I yelled to the others. Hey! We need to get to the hospital now. Phil! Claire shook him out of his blacked-out state. Oh, on it, Phil said and ran to the car. Jay finally picked up the call and asked, Hello? Edward? Why did you call me? J. Gloria yelled while grabbing my hair. I'm having the baby. Oh my God! Alex immediately recorded the scene as she thought it was amusing to see my hair got grabbed like that. Edward, I don't think we can go to the hospital now. The baby's coming out of me. Right now. Gloria huffed heavily. Oh God, inside the Mustang? Phil was having a different interest here. Oh. I think I can deliver the baby. Alex rushed towards the back seat, then she saw some blood on my hand. She froze and fainted on the spot. Claire! Gloria yelled. Oh God! Oh God! Claire was dumbfounded. Gloria! I can deliver the baby, if you give me consent. I told her. She panted slightly and said, Oh. Okay. I trust you, Edward. Chapter 432. Baby. Edward POV. In the hospital's maternity ward, Jay and Manny rushed into the room while Gloria held the baby. Honey, what's going on? It took only 20 minutes for you to have the baby? Jay asked, his face full of concern. Gloria smiled and held my hand, forcing me to place my palm on her stomach. No. Edward helped me through it. I only needed to push 3 times, and the baby come out, Gloria said cheerfully. Manny looked at my hand and asked, Why are you touching my mother's stomach? I'm asking myself the same question. I sighed. To make sure the delivery went smoothly, I used some of my chakra-assisted medical techniques. As a result, it quickly became one of the world's fastest childbirths, taking only 67 seconds for the baby to come out. Although it wasn't number 1 on that list, there was a lady who finished her delivery in just 27 seconds. Gloria giggled and said, It doesn't hurt when he's holding me like that. So I am trapped here. I muttered with a deadpan voice. Jay grinned and said, Well, Edward, the first know you want to leave, but I have to prioritize my wife right now. So you're going to have to stay until she lets you go. Fine. I'll postpone my meetings, I said with a sigh. The doctor walked into the room and was glad to see Jay. He briefed everyone about the baby, saying how it was one of the healthiest he had ever seen despite being born earlier than the due date. It's almost a miracle, or we were greatly off when we predicted the conceiving time, the doctor said with a nervous smile. Anyway, I'm glad the baby came out safe, Manny interjected. Then, the doctor wanted to try to get the baby to breastfeed. Gloria pulled out her breast and tried to get the baby to latch. Manny widened his eyes and turned around slightly. Jay was flabbergasted, and he looked at my face. Edward, why don't you turn around? He asked, greatly confused. Gloria brushed it off, saying, Jay. He had already seen everything under there. And when I change into this gown too, Jay's mouth opened wide, and he gave me a weird look. Don't worry. He's like a doctor. He did the delivery even cleaner than what our specialist could have done. The doctor interjected. Jay sighed and said, All right then. But if you bragged about it to your friends. Right now, I'm just trying to delete the image from my mind cause I know it will stay there whenever I want to try something with a girl. I said wryly. Jay burst into laughter and said, Good. The baby went to sleep after drinking some milk. Gloria finally put him down. I knew Gloria wouldn't let me go so easily, so I inserted a huge chunk of my yang energy into her womb, and then used the seal to let it nourish her body slowly. I'll be waiting outside. I started to leave, but Gloria grabbed my hand and begged. No! You have to stay. What if anything happens to Fulgencio? You're the only one who can help him. Gloria, I'm here now. Let Edward go, he looks really uncomfortable. Jay said, confused and chuckling at my misery. Jay, you don't understand. When he touched my belly, the baby came out. And it didn't even hurt much when I was pushing. Gloria explained. Gloria, you were just scared of giving birth. But you're fine now. You should let Edward go since you already have the baby. Am I right? Jay comforted her. Gloria hesitated for a while before she finally let me go. Stop, she said abruptly. I paused as I took my hand away from her. Between the silence, she checked to see if it would still hurt. Ah, it doesn't hurt anymore. Thanks, Eddie, Gloria said sincerely. You're welcome, I replied. I went outside the room, where Claire, Phil, Alex, and Luke were waiting in the lobby. They were waiting for the visiting hours to see the baby. Eddie. Claire rushed toward me. I immediately put my hands up to stop her from coming closer. I have placenta all over me, so I need to go and change first, I said quickly. Oh, okay. Claire was stunned at first but let me go. Luke was snickering the whole time after hearing the word placenta. Entering a toilet booth, I opened a portal back to my place, jumped into a hot shower to scrub off the birthing fluids, and changed clothes. Then I came back to the hospital. Everything took only 10 minutes. I saw Mitchell, Cam, Lily, and Haley with the family when I returned. Haley's eyes widened slightly, but Cam greeted me first. Edward! Eddie! Lily interrupted by running toward me. I crouched down, let her jump into my arms, and picked her up. She giggled and kissed my cheek. I've missed you. The 4-year-old was quite attached to me. I miss you too, I said. Cam yelped, looking like he wanted to cry, but not out of joy, more out of jealousy. Edward, did Gloria's delivery really start when you put your hand on her stomach? Mitchell asked jokingly. I nodded seriously. Yeah. Just 10 seconds later, her water broke. Oh damn, you must have the gifted touch. Phil laughed. I grinned. Yeah. I realized that my hands especially have a strong effect on women. Just ask your daughter. I paused when I saw Claire and Phil's horrified expressions. Haley, too, looked stunned. I mean, when I picked the guitar strings, I added quickly. Alex cackled at their reactions and stepped in to save the day. Go easy on him. He had to deliver a baby in the car when everyone else was too useless to help. Phil held my shoulder. And we thank you for that, Eddie. Then he whispered. Don't talk about you dating Alex now. I already told her not to say anything, so just follow along. All right, I whispered back. Suddenly, a slightly older couple approached me. The pregnant woman, who looked a bit like Jamie Presley with curly hair, rolled her wheelchair toward me excitedly. Hey, aren't you Edward Newgate? She asked. Oh honey, we shouldn't disturb them. They look like they're here for an important day too, said the man, who looked like Ed Helms. Sorry, she's just been so stressed with her delivery. I've been here for 36 hours, and I've only dilated 2 centimeters. The woman said with a prominent scowl. That must have been hard for you. I sympathized. She nodded slightly. Thank you. I'm just so hungry and bored in that room. We're waiting for the epidural now. I can't take it anymore. Alex joked. Edward, why don't you bless her with your special hands too? She looks like she needs it. What special hands? The woman asked. Alex explained, and her eyes instantly lit up. Okay, please touch me too. I don't care if my husband is watching, she said crassly. Honey, please don't make me relive that night again, the man said sadly. I didn't want to know about his trauma, so I agreed. It's not going to work a second time. Alex grinned. Haley pulled Alex away and scolded her. Hey! Why are you causing trouble for him? I can feel the baby's head crowning, the woman suddenly yelled as I touched her belly for 10 seconds. A doctor immediately rushed toward us. Oh my God, how are you doing this? The doctor gasped and yelled at a nurse to take the woman into the delivery room. The family stood stunned by the scene unfolding before them. At least I didn't get placenta on me this time, I muttered. No, 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 no. Alex shook her head nervously. There must be a scientific explanation for this. Natural musks that help with hormones? I reached my hand to touch her stomach, and she slapped it away hurriedly, her face full of shock. We need more data, Alex said firmly. It was pretty convenient that Alex became hyperfixated on the miracle touch, since I could make my exit from the scene smoothly. Not that I didn't want to hang out, but for Gloria, it was better to have fewer distractions since she needed rest. The family also didn't stay long, leaving only Alex and me at the hospital to mess around after seeing the baby. The doctors there already knew me, so we didn't really have any red tape around our experiments. To make things fun, I ensured that every woman I touched, those waiting for their epidural, immediately started their contractions. They saved hundreds of dollars on epidural injections and had smoother deliveries, while I got to mess with Alex's brain. A win-win situation. Jay brought Gloria and the baby back home that night. It wasn't the time yet for us to visit, so after teasing Alex, I sent her home. I need a scan of your skin, your blood work, and anything else that might explain this, Alex said firmly. But my attention wasn't on her. I need to wash my car after this, I said, sniffing a strange smell inside my Mustang. What's wrong? You seem kinda down, Alex asked. I was a bit down. I thought about the episodes of the TV show that I had missed out on, and certain episodes that had completely changed because of my intervention. I wouldn't get to see Phil calling Haley his little baby when she dated an older jeans salesman, since she was now a millionaire and not a college dropout. Well, she did drop out of college, but it was an honorable dropout, not the kind where she got arrested and had to leave. I couldn't see Cam and Claire flip a house together, since both now had actual jobs. In the original show's timeline, they would have still been stay-at-home spouses for quite a while. I couldn't see Phil beat the shit out of Jay in a boxing match at a children's birthday party. And since the baby came early, Kim didn't have time to paint the mural in Jay's house. So yeah, I was feeling pretty down. I swear to God, I will not miss out on the Godfather spoof during Joe's naming ceremony, even if I have to create the issue myself. What was that? Alex asked, not really paying attention. Nothing, I replied. We should call Phineas now and rub our fake relationship in his face, I added. Alex nodded. Yeah, I'll call Jenna and Enid too. Wait a minute, don't change the subject. I need to do the lab test first. We'll focus on the fake relationship later. I didn't let Alex test my body, which made her really depressed, so she decided to postpone the relationship announcement. The next day, I received a call from Gloria. Edward, why don't you come by? Fulgencio wants to meet you, Gloria said excitedly, showing the baby through the video call. I smiled. I want to meet him too. But today, I have to handle the concert meetings. There are sponsors I need to meet, some artists. I just have a lot of work to do today. Gloria's expression faltered, and she acted pitiful. Okay. You hear that, Fulgencio? He couldn't make time for you today, I'm not his dad, so I don't feel anything from your attempt to guilt-trip me, I said with a chuckle. Gloria laughed. I'm so obvious, huh? All right. I'll leave you alone. Before she ended the call, she said, "Oh, right. Make sure to pick up Alex from school today if you want to show that you're truly in a relationship with her. That'll make it more convincing." Great idea, Gloria. I'll do just that, I replied casually. I had some meetings that day, but I took the time to pick Alex up from her class at Caltech. As I parked my Ferrari in front of the physics department building, a small crowd began to form. The geeky students watched me from afar, whispering excitedly and taking pictures as I leaned on the hood of the car. I gave a small wave to the girls calling my name, which made them squeal. Then I saw Alex walking down the stairs, finishing her class. "Alex!" I waved to catch her attention. Alex froze as she saw me, and everyone turned their heads to look at her. "What the fuck?" she cursed, a blush appearing on her face. Is that Edward Newgate calling you?" Alex's roommate, a Korean-American girl with twin tails and braces, whispered excitedly. "My girlfriend Alex. Why are you so stunned? I told you I'm picking you up for lunch today," I said loudly. "That son of a bitch is crazy." Alex rushed toward me. Did he just call her his girlfriend?" The other girls on campus were shocked. As Alex reached the car, she scolded me. "What are you doing? Are you crazy? What? You said to act like your boyfriend?" I smiled and patted her head affectionately, fixing her scruffy hair. Alex's commentary. "When I saw him standing in front of the department building, that's when I knew I'd made a huge mistake asking him to be my boyfriend." She sighed. "He's too high profile to be one. And not to mention, I'd be public enemy number one if the news got out." Commentary ends. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" Alex asked angrily as I drove her out of the college campus. "Being a good fake boyfriend. You want to get the words out first. Speculations. You want to make it seem like we had dated each other for a while, not just starting up. But we are just starting up." Alex grimaced. "And Phineas confirmed it during the New Year's camp. So doing this will be stupid." Suddenly, my phone rang, interrupting Alex's words. It was from Enid. I picked it up and put it on speaker. "Hi. Eddie, are you dating Alex?" Enid asked with a crying voice. "I know I can't compete with her natural gift, but as soon as I got some money to get some implants, I will." "Enid! Stop!" Alex interjected, panicked by the reaction. "We're not really dating. We're just doing that to make Phineas jealous." "But you kissed in front of the physics department, not in front of Phineas," Enid retorted. "What?" Alex grimaced in confusion. "Where did you hear that? That never happened? There's photos of it all over Instagram. Although, it was taken from the back of your head, so I can't see if your lips actually touched. But it looks like you guys are sharing a really affectionate kiss," Enid explained. Alex looked at me with a pale face. I chuckled and said, "Hey, my plan came out great. Now we should wait until Phineas sees it." Enid was silent for a while before she asked, "So, it's really fake?" I turned to the phone and said, "Yeah, Enid. So don't try to get those implants. Your bust is pretty cute as it is." "Yay!" Enid cheered after taking a moment to celebrate silently. Alex looked at me like I was an idiot and immediately scolded Enid. "Don't celebrate that, you idiot. And you should definitely not idolize someone like him. He is such a player." Enid giggled and said, "He is. But I can't help myself to who I'm crushing on with. I even wrote a fanfic, never mind." "Hold on, Enid. I want to hear that. Don't write something weird again," I said, panicked by Enid's wild imaginations. That night, Phineas, Billy, Alex, Jenna and Enid came to my house to practice for the concert. Although, only some of us would perform there. 1 million people? Alex was shocked. "In 5 days? I'm out." Alex ran away hurriedly, But I caught her collar like a kitten and spun her body facing me. She fell into my embrace, and she lowered her head with embarrassment as she accidentally locked eyes with me. I comforted her, saying, "Don't worry. I'll be beside you all the time. This is definitely something that you want to run away from." Phineas grimaced. His eyes were staring daggers at me. He strummed the electric guitar angrily, yet he didn't say anything. Alex and I were pretty confused by his lack of reaction. He didn't ask about our relationship, nor did he react strongly when we were expressing affections in front of him. "What's wrong with him?" Alex whispered to me. "I don't know. I will talk to him, so pretend to go to the bathroom and bring all the girls with you," I whispered back. And Alex did just that, leaving me alone in the practice room with Phineas. "Hey man, I need to talk to you about something," I said as I approached him. "About your fake relationship with Alex?" Phineas blurted out. I looked at him with confusion and asked, "Why do you say it's fake?" Phineas looked at me with a side eye and said, "Come on. A guy who's been peddling the bro code at Jacob and I for 3 years, are suddenly dating a bro's ex-girlfriend without getting the okay from him first? That's actually what I want to ask you about." I interjected him. "Is it okay for me to ask Alex out?" Phineas widened his eyes, his smile froze. "What? Can I ask Alex out?" I repeated. "You haven't asked her out yet?" Phineas was flabbergasted. I nodded. "Yeah. I don't want to go behind your back. I know Alex has some feelings towards me too, so I want to figure out if this can go somewhere." Phineas's eyes turned blank. Suddenly he shook off his world crumbling around him state and asked, "What if I say no?" "Then I won't do it," I replied easily. Phineas went silent for a while. Then, he said with a weak voice, not able to meet my eyes, "I guess it's okay then. Since she had already rejected me." I held him by the shoulder and said, "Dude! Fight for her for God's sake!" "What?" His eyes shook as I shook his entire body. "You let her go way too easily. She doesn't want to date you since you make it look like convenience, not that you're really in love with her. So make a fool of yourself. Fight for it. Snot and tears. Beg her to take you back." I added, "You can't play it cool if you're the one who made the mistake." Phineas widened his eyes as a wave of realization and understanding flashed on his face. Ah! He finally understood what he needed to do. "Dude! Why didn't you tell me this during the camping trip?" He scolded me back. "I had a lot on my mind, alright?" I argued. It was also because my previous life memories were locked, so I didn't think about it." "Alright. Alex is going to come back in 10 seconds. If you want to fight for her, then show you truly care when she gets back. Otherwise, I will truly date her," I warned him. "And once women go ed, they will never forget. I need a better rhyme here, but you understand what I'm talking about." I let him go and walked away from him. Phineas thought deeply about how he could show his emotions on the prospect of Alex dating someone else. The girl's footsteps became clearer. As Alex opened the door to the room, she widened her eyes in shock at the sight of Phineas standing behind my back and swinging a guitar at me. Chapter 433, Fool for Love. Edward POV. Phineas swung the guitar from behind me. I had sensed it, but I let it happen. However, he stopped like an inch before it hit my back. I turned to him with slight confusion. "Why are you stopping?" I whispered. "I don't know. It doesn't feel right," Phineas whispered back. "Phineas!" Enid dashed into the room, jumped, and did a flying kick aiming at Phineas's face. But I grabbed her leg and caught her before she could do it. I held her upside down like a fish and said, "Calm down, Enid." She thrashed around, trying to get to Phineas and kicking him with her other leg. Alex and Jenna joined in, while Billy sipped on her bubble tea calmly. "Phineas! What the hell do you think you're doing?" Jenna used a motherly scolding voice on him. Alex's face was stunned, and she turned to me for answers. Instead, Phineas stood in front of her and said, "Alex, I still love you. And I want you back. I'm prepared to fight Edward for you." "No. You weren't," Alex said with a grimace. "You stopped at the last second." He turned to me with eyes that were asking for help. I shrugged and said, "You should have just hit me, man." "So, your fake dating thing didn't work out?" Jenna teased Alex as she sat at the side with the girls. "Shut up. It's all Edward's fault for doing too much." Alex grimaced, slightly embarrassed. Enid laughed out loud for a long time before she said, "Thank God it wasn't real." When I heard it, I almost made a voodoo doll. "You made what?" Jenna was astonished. Enid froze a bit before replying, "Nothing. I didn't do anything." Alex rolled her eyes at them. Then, she looked at Phineas, who was getting punished by me. Alex told him to do 1,000 push-ups if he wanted to get back together. He was on number 70 now, and his arms were already shaking. 71, Phineas said, sweating heavily. "Come on, Phineas. You can do this," I said encouragingly while standing next to him. "Imagine hugging that soft, supple brain." I changed my words mid-sentence as Alex was glaring at me. "Southeast, Venti, 2. Phineas did one more push-up. Billy joined me and said to Phineas, "Come on, you worthless piece of scum." "Billy?" I was puzzled. Billy turned to me with a shy face and said, "Sometimes he responds better to negative encouragement." "Oh. Okay. Come on, you sniveling pussy." "Gah!" Phineas did another push-up. Jenna nudged Alex using her elbow and teased, "When he does 1,000 push-ups, are you going to bone him?" "What? No!" Alex was taken aback. "I want to bone Eddie," Enid exclaimed with longing eyes. Alex grimaced and hit her in the arm. "Ow. All right, I deserve that." Enid accepted the punishment easily, then she laughed. Phineas did another push-up and said, "I didn't think getting someone's back would be this hard." "It is sometimes." I agreed with him. He snapped at me. "What do you know about pursuing girls?" "Well, I've dated a few." I chuckled. Phineas shook his head and looked upwards slightly to meet my eyes. "Yes, you've dated them. But you never really made an effort to be with them." "I've made a lot of effort," I replied, slightly dissatisfied. "And are you sure you want to attack the person helping you right now?" Phineas did another push-up and said, "You're helping me. That's why I want to return the favor. You told me, you need to be a fool when it comes to love. Have you ever been a fool in all of your relationships?" His thin arms shook as he did another push-up. With a groan, he said, "You're always the cool guy, right? You didn't pursue. You let them go so easily." "Shut up, Phineas." Billy was slightly surprised and worried as she saw I was silent. "I mean, how can you ask me to be a fool when you never did that yourself? Never fight for the one you want," he added. "All right. I might have done that, but it's different with me," I said. Billy immediately rushed to the girls to tell them about the conversation. "Different how? Are you not a guy like me? Do you consider yourself better than the girls since you're at the top of the world?" Phineas asked without malice. I shook my head and said, "I've never considered that." "Then you're a bigger fool for not fighting for them." "Wait, what number am I at right now?" "I don't know. I forgot to count," I said. "Damn it. 83? He guessed. "No. It's 80. Alex shouted from afar. Phineas grinned in excitement. His hands were shaking, his hair wet from sweat. Yet he was smiling. He turned to me. "See. She's counting. So I have some hope left in getting her back." I looked at Alex, who was pretending not to care about it, but deep down, she wanted him to succeed. "To be honest with you, you had some hope in getting her back at the camp. But you gave up so easily," I teased. "Well, I spent most of my life emulating you. Even mimicking your lifestyle with women. And it cost me the girl who I loved the most." Phineas said with a struggle. He turned to me again and said, So aren't you going to be a fool too? Like I said, my case is different. Sounds like an excuse to me. Phineas went down, but he struggled to get up. I kicked his back in anger, which made him flop down on the ground. Hey! Alex scolded. Calm down. I'm going, I said and left Phineas's side. He was pissing me off a bit, but when I kicked him, I put some energy inside his body to make sure he would finish the push-up challenge. His words made me think for a bit, but I stand by my decisions. I wasn't exactly a normal man, so I had to be extra careful with this. And by not normal, I meant with my abilities, not my social standing or wealth. Enid rushed to sit beside me as I sat on the piano bench. She whispered, Edward, do you think he can do it? Well, he just needs to do the best he can. I think Alex will give him another chance as long as he's sincere about it. I muttered. Aren't you sad? You almost became Alex's boyfriend. Enid teased. I laughed. Yeah. I sure do will miss not kissing her. Enid bit her lower lip, took a deep breath, and said, You can kiss me if you want. I turned to Enid with a raised brow. If anyone here was a fool for love, she is. To put herself out there, to try and fight for her crush's attention, she was truly brave. Still, I didn't have any feelings for her. So I had to shut her down gently. Suddenly, I received a text message. My eyes widened as I read it. Barbara, a model at my work, suddenly went berserk and threw stuff around. Barbara, she has extraordinary strength after surviving the alien pox, and she threw a sofa at a producer. Barbara, I'm hurt as I was close to him. I'm bleeding too. Wait. I need to go. I stood up urgently. Enid asked, What's wrong? Barbara got attacked at her job. So I'm going to go see her. I replied. Alex and Jenna approached me quickly. Jenna asked with concern, Attacked how? Is she all right? I'm going to go see her now. I muttered urgently. Alex nodded in understanding and said, Go then. I left my house on a sleek, black Kawasaki bike and opened a portal as soon as I rode down the hill. I reached Barbara's place in Burbank in just a couple of minutes and immediately entered her house. As I opened the door, I saw her wearing a bandage on her head. She wore a bathrobe, and she drank wine as she watched TV. Hey, are you fine? Ed, look! She pointed at the TV. The news anchor covered the story. The Victoria's Secret model Catalina claimed to have been tricked into an unfair modeling contract and lashed out with her newfound strength. The model's picture was shown on TV, along with the recording of her throwing the couch like it was nothing. The announcer continued, Catalina was just one of the many cases of what experts called alien resentment syndrome, where people with newfound extraordinary strength after surviving the alienpox virus went berserk and began attacking. I turned off the news and went to her. Are you all right? I asked with concern. Barbara smirked before she pretended to be a baby about it. No. It hurts so much. She hugged me slightly and complained. I was so scared. I touched her bandage with my hand and began checking her head with my chakra. I was confused when I realized there was nothing there. No wound, no bruise or contusion. Nothing. Did she wear a fake bandage to get me to come to her house? I was amused but pretended to be concerned on the surface. I stared into her eyes intently. There was no ounce of guilt there, only expectation and satisfaction. Should I take a look at it? It will be bad if it gives you a scar, I told her. Barbara flinched slightly and said, No. I already had a doctor take a look at it. I just need you to take care of me while I'm recovering. I see, I muttered with understanding. Barbara smiled and pulled me to sit next to her. Then she laid her head on my chest as she turned the TV back on. I instinctively patted her head as we cuddled, with her inching closer and closer until she was on my lap. Should I just say I know what happened and leave? As I sensed her body's warmth, my eyes became conflicted. Or do I want to stay with her? The news was covering the story about the alienpox virus cure's side effect. As the cure made the patients assimilate with the alien DNA in order to save themselves, a lot of people came out of their coma with superior strength. Those who were usually powerless began to hunt the ones who had hurt them before. A rape victim confronting their rapist and breaking every bone in their bodies. An orphan searching for their parents' killer, mowing down cartels as he went on his journey. There were a lot of cases like that. I began to see the duality of mankind, where some used their powers for good, some for personal gain and bad stuff. Barbara nestled her body onto mine, latching on as if she never wanted to let me go. Hey Ed. Someone offered me $1 million to do a topless photo shoot. Barbara suddenly asked. I was taken aback by her words. Before I could respond, she pulled her head away and looked me in the eye. Ho ho, my ear is on your chest, and I heard your heart jumping out when I said that. She gazed into my eyes intently and said, So, you do have feelings for me. Possessive feelings. I sighed as I was caught and said, Yeah. I kinda do. You happy now? Really, really happy. She grinned and laid her head on my chest again. Her smile slowly disappeared and she asked, Wait. I'm not taking you away from your concert planning, am I? I was going to practice some songs with my friends, but that wasn't going to happen even before you texted me. I said simply. Barbara went silent for a while before she asked, The topless shoot. That's real, you know? Are you going to do it? I asked carefully. She asked back, Do you want me to do it? Honestly. No. Not honestly. Selfishly. Do you want me to do it or not? She asked without looking at me. I went silent for a while before I selfishly said, I don't want you to. She grinned and said, Thought so. You know, I became a model because it's easy work. And it's easy to meet a rich man. Or it will slowly make me popular and pull me into TV shows. But I don't even care if my career went downhill. She looked into my eyes again and said, I just want to stay with you, like we're doing right now. You're a sly little minx, aren't you? I said with a chuckle. She wasn't offended, and instead batted her eyes at me. Of course, you being a rich man make me think that if I landed you, I won't have to lift a single finger for the rest of my entire life. If you don't move and exercise, you'll get fat. I teased. She rolled her eyes and said, You created Ozempic. I think I will be fine. In fact, if I wasn't a model, I don't have to starve myself consistently anymore. We laughed together, and she laid her head on my chest again. I asked, Hey, did you ever resent me? For what? I have, a lot of times. Like when you didn't give me jewelry when I sucked your. I mean like for not pursuing you hard enough. I interjected. She pulled her head again and looked at me with major disbelief. I'm the one pursuing you, dumbass. She scolded. Sure, I want to be the catch, but you made me feel like one when we're hanging out, so I just need to break through the barrier you put around you. She touched my chest and said, And then I'll be golden. Barrier? I was confused. Yeah. You're like someone not from this world. What? I was confused. Not like you're an alien or something. Or the fact that you're smart. It's more like, how do I put this? You see things like it's fiction, not reality. Like you're more of an observer, barely a participant. Oh. I was taken aback by her words. My therapist said the same thing. I added. Barbara smiled and said, See. But we're not blaming you for it. Since we know you're more tormented about it than we do. She fingered me, nudged her index finger at my heart and said, So Edward, what would it take for you to be in the same world as us? To care about the small thing rather than the grand idea. I studied her face intently and said, Wow. You're really beautiful. Barbara was taken aback and blushed slightly. What the? Don't change the subject. And I already know I'm beautiful. I laughed slightly and held her hand. Her eyes flickered, and she stared at me with anticipation. Also, your bandage is loose, and I can see your head," I said as I showed her the bandage in my hand. When she was nuzzling her head on my chest, the clip was separated, and it slid off her head. Barbara widened her eyes and quickly touched her head. "Damn it!" she cursed. "All right. Fine. I wasn't next to the producer at all. I saw the footage on TV. You were standing at the side. And I know what blood smells like. Your bandage is too clean, so I knew it when I stepped into the house. I told Catalina this is a bad idea. She said I can trick you with this." Barbara pouted cutely. "Why do you have to be so smart? And smell blood? What are you, a dog?" "I have an even better sense of smell than dogs," I told her casually. "I even know what you ate today by the small on your hair." "Really?" She was surprised. "No," I smirked. "I'm just teasing you." She rolled her eyes and let out a burst of mirth. "God. All right, you can go back now." "Why would I go back?" I asked. She was taken aback, and a smile tugged on her lips. "Aren't you going to go practice like you said you would?" They are going to be fine. I have to take care of my sick friend, so..." I tapped my chest lightly, hinting at her to lay down again. She giggled and nuzzled her head on my chest before saying, "Your sick friend is also hungry. 'Cause she just had a caprese salad for lunch?" I asked. "Yeah, wait." Barbara was shocked. I smirked and said, "What do you want to eat?" "I want your meat," she replied. "What?" I blanked out for a bit. "Yeah. Your meat. You know, the one you give all of us in your house." Barbara clarified, but it didn't clear anything up. "You know, the one where you put it into a sandwich. And then give us a cream pie after." My mind was running 1,000 miles per hour. Then it clicked. Oh, you mean the meat from my ranch. Yeah. The delicious meat. I don't know if I want steak or something else, but I want that," Barbara said, not understanding why I was so relieved. Honestly, I wasn't 100% relieved. Maybe 55% only. I wrapped her up like a burrito with a blanket and brought her to the kitchen. A drone sent me the meat in an ice box, and then I began cooking for her. "Ah." She opened her mouth as she wanted me to feed her. As I put meat into her mouth, the juices dribbled all over her chin. That sounds wrong again. I was 100% talking about meat here. I made her a steak. Maybe I was a fool for love too, I muttered as I watched her eat with satisfaction. Damn, I have to break the news to my fake girlfriend about this and ask her to break up. Chapter 434, Concert Venue. Edward POV. 3 more days till the concert, people! Look alive! Pepper shouted at the staff encouragingly as they were setting up the concert venue in the middle of the desert. A lot of the company employees were at the place, working hard to prepare for the concert. The contractors, the android worker robots and my duplicates, were building the seats and the stage. Claire was handling logistics and parking. Frankie handled the permits from the government and the sales of the plot of land. I had bought the empty, barren land with no real value from the Californian state, and the stadium was built on top of that land. If I did this right, I would be able to turn this cheap land into a wonderful electric city. It had only been 3 weeks since I started building, so right now there was only the concert venue, a hotel, some residential houses, well-connected roads, traffic lights, an energy generator made of deuterium cores, and functional water pipes. Just some minor stuff. Right now, I was focusing on the concert venue. Wearing a yellow safety hat, I, Ronaldo, Pepper, and many more people were supervising and visiting the construction. There will be 1 bathroom for every 100 people. So 10,000 porta-potties? Ronaldo gasped in shock as he read the venue's infrastructure plans. It's not porta-potties. It's actual toilets, with plumbing, and auto-cleaning functions every time someone uses it. Annie muttered excitedly, taking short pauses in between to build up the excitement. Frankie read the design and asked, "Can the construction finish on Friday? How about the inspection?" We already cut a deal with some safety inspectors. Not dirty deals. Just early inspections during construction, so it could pass earlier. I muttered. If anything happened, I could just hypnotize the safety inspector to get the permit faster. I didn't cut corners on the safety of the concert venue though, since it was designed for 1 million people. Any accidents here would be catastrophic for my fans, so I made sure to give them the best experience and safety possible. During the concert, there would be medic tents, free water refill from water dispensers, and efficient emergency routes out of there, just in case. The historic record for the biggest concert in the world was 3.5 million people, in Brazil. It was held on a beach, so it was quite safe, but there's a long history of people losing their lives at concerts. 1 million was around number 10 on the list. But under 2013's modern safety standards, it was huge. I was walking around when I was startled by a familiar voice. So, Ed, this is what, like, the third city you've built? I flinched and turned instantly. God, Sage. You scared me. That'll happen when you're aware of everyone's presence all the time. You'll get startled when someone bypasses that ability. Sage muttered lazily. I nodded calmly and said, Well, if someone can do that, then they deserve to kill me. Sage grimaced and threw me an empty vial. I looked at her in confusion after catching it. Do you know what that is? She asked. My Esper serum? Sage nodded. I sighed after waiting for her to explain. So, aren't you going to add more to that? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were the smartest man in the world. You can't deduce everything with just that vial? Sage said sarcastically. I'm smart, not a god. What is it? I asked with slight intrigue. Sage snickered and said, Well, you seemed bored. I gasped. No, you didn't. My eyes widened, and my breath quickened. Sage nodded and said, Yup. I did. You injected the vial into someone. Who? How many? I asked, completely shocked. Several. Sage tilted her head lazily. Why would you do that? I was genuinely frazzled. Sage shrugged and said, In every society there's a force, and there's an opposite force that counterbalances everything. Poor rich. Smart dumb. Superpowered alien pox survivor, experimental Esper user. Superpowered. Sage, what are you talking about? I looked at her with disbelief. She shrugged again and asked, Edward, what happens when a hero appears in the real world? How should I know? I grimaced. All right. Let me rephrase that. You've watched Kick-Ass before, right? I gasped and said, Oh. It's like that? Yup. Sage replied. It's like that. In Kick-Ass 2, when normal people started putting on costumes to become heroes, the criminals did the same. They organized, got worse, and turned into villains. It's the same idea Sage was talking about, balance. When something powerful rises, the world creates something equally dangerous to counter it. What about me? Who's balancing me? I asked. She replied. That's one of the perks of being an afterlife agent. Anyway, let me handle this. I'm bored now that you don't need so much supervision anymore. I smiled in elation. She snapped. Stop smirking or I'll kick you. You miss me. I teased. Then, she kicked me in the ass. Even with all my strength, I couldn't avoid it. The Esper serum wasn't permanent. Once the superpowered people were gone, the abilities would also disappear. I sat on the piano to test the acoustics of the concert venue. The speakers need to be powerful enough to overpower the voice of 1 million people, Frankie said as she wore ear protection. You might need to do the mic test now. We'll play the countersound to see if it can drown out the cheers, Ronaldo said. I sat on the piano at the center of the crowd. The stage was placed in the middle of a circular formation, shaped like a blooming lotus from above. Each pedal was a separate section that could rise or sink, creating layers of elevation so everyone could see the artist no matter where they stood. Every pedal stage was also connected by a retractable walkway, allowing performers to move between sections. To make sure the farthest audience members didn't miss a single movement, I embedded holographic projection arrays on each pedal. We tested it out too, and 26 images of myself appeared around the concert hall. They mirrored my figure and performance in real time. So even from a mile away, people could still feel like they were right in front of me. From the sky, the venue resembled a giant lotus of light. Glowing, shifting, alive with sound and motion. It was truly the best concert venue ever made in the world. As I was done testing the acoustic with some classical music, I went on to test the vocals next with some songs.
I said, ooh, I'm blinded by the lights. No, I can't sleep until I feel your touch.
After I finished the tests, I nodded in satisfaction and said, "It will be ready tomorrow." Annie clapped enthusiastically as I finished singing. "You're like a god on the stage, Eddie," she said happily and gave me a hug. "Can I see the rooster for the concert again?" I asked. Concert list: Paramore, Linkin Park, Eminem, Taylor S., Selena Gomez and Nessa, Justin Bieber, Katy Perry, Lady Gaga, John Legend, Elton John, Jessie J, Nicki Minaj, Ariana Grande. It would be a 3-day concert, so the rooster might change according to the day. There were a lot more performers who wanted to join the concert, but there's limited slot for it. I did pick out several newcomers to open the concerts, and give them some chances to prove themselves too. One of them was Halsey. Another was Victoria Justice. The concert was the main talk point of the country right now. The excitement for it was insane. Since I charged only $20 for the concert tickets, people thought I was doing a free concert. I've spent $2 billion on building the venue alone. It really didn't cover the cost of it at all. But I didn't mind since it was my venue, and I could use it whenever I wanted. After checking the venue, Pepper and I left the deserted area near Pasadena. I called the city Oasis since it was built in the middle of nowhere. Once it was done, it would be the most technologically advanced city in the entire world. "Oh, by the way, Edward," Golden Globe called again. Pepper sighed as we drove back home in a limousine. "Are you really not going to the awards show?" Pepper asked. I nodded and said scathingly, "HFPA is just the Hollywood mafia. There's no prestige in the Golden Globe for me. It just sickens me, the way they manipulate people and even ruin people's lives by calling them out on their shit." Pepper nodded in understanding. "All right then. We're not going." "Too bad. All of your shows got nominated. Even Emma Watson got nominated for her role in Psychopath Diary." I rolled my eyes at the name mentioned. Pepper chuckled and said, "All right. I won't speak about her anymore." Annie, who was sitting next to me as she was my secretary, said, "Can I share what you said with my friends? About the HFPA. Your friends?" "All right, sure," I said casually. Annie grinned and said, "Great." Suddenly, the limousine came to an abrupt stop. Annie lost her balance and fell onto my body. She missed my side and planted her face first into my crotch. "Oh God," Annie said with a muffled voice. "What happened?" Pepper was frazzled and instantly walked outside. I sighed and muttered, "Luckily there's no real danger out there. Otherwise he would have been the first one to be killed." Annie pulled her head back up and said, "Huh? What?" "Nothing, Annie. Also, you took way too long to come back up." I smirked mischievously. I walked outside while Annie blushed. The limousine driver stopped as there were some roadblocks ahead, put there just a few seconds ago by a group of unruly people. "A rock?" Pepper muttered with confusion. "It's a boulder," I said casually as I stood beside him. "What's the difference?" Pepper grimaced. "Diameter." Before I could answer, several people jumped out of the rock they were hiding behind. My eyes widened slightly, and my lips curled up as I saw what they were wearing. "Mr. Newgate. We, the Justice Avenger of America, want to introduce ourselves to you." The man who wore a purple soldier outfit saluted me. Beside him was a girl in a pink wig, wearing spandex like a Marvel comic hero, with a prominent J logo on her chest. Next to her, a black African American with a huge gauntlet in his hand made of pure metal. Then, a twin wearing green spandex. Lastly, a fat guy with a leather jacket and a flamethrower on his back. "I'm Captain Awesome," the soldier said. Pepper's eyes turned dead. I laughed inwardly but kept a poker face on the front. "I'm Jewel," the pinkwig girl said. She might want to hide her identity from me, but I already knew who she was before I even came out of the car. "Hey, you're going to get copyrighted by Marvel," the soldier whispered to her. "Oh really, and Captain Awesome isn't copyrighted?" Jewel snapped sarcastically. "No. It is not," the soldier said with dissatisfaction. I sighed and interjected their conversation. I have places to be. So let's wrap this up soon." "Ah. Right," the soldier said. "I'm Flamer." Before the fat guy could introduce himself, the soldier interjected. "We, the Justice Avenger of America, are going to be working hard to keep evil at bay. Like you did. We're here to pay respect to you, and then go do our job." "Oh. All right then," I said flatly. "Don't kill anyone," I added. "No, we will be calling the cops when we see crime," one of the twins said. "Oh, like Neighborhood Watch?" Pepper asked. "We're not the Neighborhood Watch," the gauntlet shouted. I ignored all of them and stared at the pinkwig girl. She felt self-conscious of my gaze and tried to avoid it. "Come here," I called her abruptly. Jewel sighed in exasperation and walked towards me, and we had a private conversation. "So, anything you want to say to me, Jewel?" I asked knowingly. "Don't know what you're talking about, Newgate," she replied while crossing her arms. "I think your mother will be worried sick if she knows you're doing something like this, Jenna." I muttered with a chuckle. Jenna's cheek turned pink, like the rest of her. You knew?" "You know, I never get the eye mask part of the costume. Every other part of your face is bare. It is obviously you behind the mask, 'cause I recognize that face anywhere." She giggled slightly and said, "Well, don't tell anyone." "I'm not. I am a little worried though. So use this." I gave her a card. "It has an address and password on it." "What's this?" she asked curiously. "One of my hideouts." I muttered. "If you're really serious about this, I will make you a costume, like I did for the President of the United States." She squealed and rushed to hug me. "H. Eddie. I love you. Jewel. Behave yourself." The soldier was astonished. I laughed and told everyone, "Don't worry. I'm fine with it." I walked to the boulder and picked it up with one hand. Everyone widened their eyes as they saw it. Then I threw it like a tennis ball, away from the road. It flew 100 meters away before dropping. "Oh my fucking god!" The flamer, whose name was really unfortunate if he wasn't gay, exclaimed in bewilderment. "I'll see you guys around," I told them with a smirk. As I left the road in the wannabe group of superheroes, I decided it was too dangerous for me to leave Jenna alone playing superheroes. So I decided to put one of my duplicates into the group to protect them. Hopefully they won't run into any Esper-powered people, I muttered with a sigh. Then I crossed my arms and began to think deeply about the matter. Sage wouldn't just awaken people into Espers just because she's bored. So is there anything else behind it? As I returned home, Barbara was waiting for me in my living room mansion with her legs up on the couch seat. "You're late," she pouted. "You said 9 o'clock? It's 9:01. I muttered with disbelief before I played along. "I was really late, weren't I?" "Yeah. Don't you know how much I've missed you?" Barbara said affectionately as she rushed towards me. She jumped into my arms and wrapped her legs around my waist. I held her buttocks to lift her up. She kissed my lips and cheeks furiously. Sorry. There's some boulder on the road. I told her. Stupid boulder. She cursed as she kissed me more. Then, her enthusiasm deflated. I'm starving. She complained, turning her body weak. I chuckled and said, All right. I'll make something. No, I'd already made a dinner reservation. We should go out and eat, she said casually. We decided to go out with each other like normal people would. Which meant no more dating in secret for me. Well, I kinda didn't need to keep it a secret anymore since I was turning 18 this year, and Barbara was turning 20. She wore a revealing black dress with deep cleavage and deep slit on the skirt. Eddie, can you help me zip up my back? She asked as she held her hair up and turned her back against me. I helped her zip up her dress and my nose caught a whiff of her perfume. She turned and grinned heavily. So, does seeing my back excite you? She teased. A little bit. Yes. I muttered calmly, which made her laugh. We went to a 5-star hotel to have dinner together while people around gawked at us. Ah. She tried to feed me some lobsters. I opened my mouth and ate it before asking, Are you trying to prove something? Are you feeling self-conscious? She asked back. I shrugged and said, Not really. She smiled and said, Then I also don't have anything to prove. I just want to feed you. As she ate for herself, she furrowed her eyebrows and said, Your cooking's better. I told you. I grinned. If we're alone, I will let you take me right on the table, she said abruptly. I was taken aback and widened my eyes slightly. Then I muttered, All right then. All right? What do you mean all right? Barbara was confused and a bit intrigued. Suddenly, everyone inside the restaurant got a text message. Then, they stood up abruptly mid-meal and walked away. The staff also left, leaving only me and Barbara inside the restaurant. Barbara was astonished when she saw it happen. What did you do? She asked. Nothing. I just offered to pay them 10 grand if they leave right now, I said casually. What the? Barbara was shocked. There must be at least 50 people here. It's fine. Don't worry about it, I said with a chuckle. Barbara frowned a bit, but her frown quickly turned into a smile. You little perv, she said teasingly. You want it that much? Hey, you offered, I said playfully. Are you going to keep your words? She blushed heavily. After a while, she nodded. Chapter 435, 1 Million Part 1. Edward POV. I have a major problem, I muttered. Gloria set the date for the christening a day before the concert. I didn't mind that since it would just take a couple hours for the entire thing. The major problem being the Godfather plot wouldn't be able to be done. In the original plot, Luke got in trouble at school for accidentally calling his teacher Mommy. He got teased relentlessly as his friend Ruben told everyone about it. Alex was going to hold a 60s-themed birthday party, but she was already in college right now, and she didn't care much about popularity anymore since she was quite popular already. I mean, being in a band with me has its perks. Even the college professors at Caltech wanted to curry favors with her. Lastly, Haley. She was supposed to be helping her neighbor drive in their boat to their driveway while they were gone, and accidentally broke their lemon tree. But right now, Haley didn't have to do anything to get some easy money since she was a major fashion CEO, and she was even featured in some business magazines. So 3 out of 4 plot points were gone. Phil was supposed to be handling a store owner putting balloons on his billboards, or as he called it, Philboard, but so far, it didn't seem like it was going to happen either. Should I arrange some conflicts for them? Screw it. I rubbed the back of my hair vigorously. I was too busy with the concert to do anything for the plot right now. So, I need to do the next best thing. Postpone it. Who are you talking to? Barbara suddenly asked, standing behind me. Oh. I turned around and chuckled. Just to myself. You're a little weird sometimes, she teased before walking away. I laughed a bit. Then I called Gloria to talk to her about postponing the christening. Jay couldn't wait to do it. I don't want to disappoint him. Gloria said casually. Gloria, no. It's not that he can't wait. He wants to get it over with so he can send your mother back to Colombia. Gloria went silent for a while. Oh, that son of a bitch. She cuts the call abruptly. I smirked in satisfaction as I got what I wanted. 10 minutes later, I received a call from Jay. Why? Why would you say that to her? Jay asked with disbelief. I cannot make it to the christening, so I have to postpone it no matter what. I said casually. You don't really need to come, Jay said grumpily. I chuckled and said, I helped deliver the kid. I will come no matter what. All right then. I'll postpone it until a week later. Jay sighed and accepted his fate. Nice, I exclaimed with satisfaction. All right. Seriously, Jay. Don't do it without me. General POV. Jay's house. Seriously, you're postponing it just because Edward told you to? Alex asked Jay teasingly. He didn't tell me, he asked me. Jay clarified. He wants to do it. By the way, Alex, why aren't you at practice? Alex furrowed her eyebrows and said, Edward isn't practicing. Claire interjected as she walked by with Phil. Yeah, but he's on a completely different level. Are you sure you're ready enough to perform in front of 1 million people? Alex's face froze. Phil laughed and said, Honey. Alex managed to design a groundbreaking device and became a millionaire overnight. She's not on Edward's level, but she's already on a league of her own. That's right. Alex stammered a bit. Just to be sure, I'm going to go to Edward's house right now and practice. She scurried away hurriedly. Phineas, Billy, and Alex went to Edward's mansion to practice. Billy said nervously, I'm suddenly so freaking nervous about tomorrow. Me too, Alex added. Phineas said, I thought I was ready. But it's really scary. Hey, are you the fan club president? A young blonde girl approached Lily. Lily wore a shirt with Edward's face on, carrying some light stick with Edward's name on it, and has Love Edward Newgate written on her cheek. Yeah. I am, Lily said with a giggle. The blonde girl gasped in excitement and said, I'm Texas Girl. Ah. Lily realized the girl was the commenter who was as active as she was on the fan sites. You can call me Cece. Cece Cooper. The blonde girl introduced herself. Then, a tall man with a luscious head of hair and a Texas accent called. Cece. Come on. We're going to go meet your Uncle Sheldon. Georgie Cooper gestured with his hand for her to come. Coming, Dad. Cece replied to him before turning to Lily. By the way, did you get the backstage pass too? Cece whispered. Lily nodded secretly, turning around cautiously to make sure no one heard it. Yeah. I got it too. Both of the girls squealed and whispered. We're going to meet him. I'll come back to Concert City tomorrow, Cece told Lily. I'm staying at the hotel here, Lily replied. Around 30,000 people were in the developing city right now. They slept in their cars. Some decided to check into the hotel there. The city was still in construction, but it was already bustling with people coming from all over the country. Hey, get off me! A man with unkempt hair was pressed down into the hood of a car. Jewel, the superhero girl, checked his pocket and pulled out some pills. You can enjoy it yourself, but if you're selling to people, especially with young teenagers around here, I have no choice but to take you in, Jenna said firmly. I won't sell. The man writhed in pain. Jenna confiscated all of the illegal substances from him and crushed it into little powder before throwing it all over the ground. Good job, Pinky, a slightly robotic voice said from behind. Jenna scowled and turned to the man with the red mask. He has a get-up similar to Red Hood and Batman, but instead of guns, he has batons. Stop! Calling! Me! That! Jenna said with gritted teeth. Oh wow, so scary! The man said mockingly, gesturing he was scared with his hands. Ugh! Jenna rolled her eyes and she wanted to walk away, but she accidentally tripped herself. As she was falling forward, the man caught her. You should watch where you're going, Pinky. The man teased her. Jenna's cheek turned reddish. The man teased again. See, now even your face is pink. Ha! Jenna exclaimed with disbelief, slapped the man's hand away and stomped away hurriedly. All the while, she was thinking, Jenna! What's the matter with you? The one you love is Eddie. Not some random stranger you just met 3 days ago. Come on, Red. Jenna called out angrily as the man was looking around. You can go first. Red told her. I found something interesting. Interesting. What is it? Jenna asked. But Red already activated his jet boots and flew away. Edward's duplicate, Red Menace, flew using his ability, not gadget, but he pretended he was using the boots to fly. Oh, come on! Jenna shouted with irritation. Edward didn't want her to come along as he sensed some strong presence around the hotel area. As he perched on a rooftop, he saw several cloaked people dealing in the hotel's alley. The built-in camera in his helmet zoomed in, and he saw one man with rocks circling around his hand. Espers? Edward muttered with excitement. But why don't they look like they are the bad guys? He was a little confused as he saw them giggling with each other. They are more like pranksters. The next morning, the city was unrecognizable. What had been a half-built urban grid was now a roaring festival ground. Tents lined the streets. Food trucks formed long smoky rows. Vendors shouted. Speakers blasted music. People were lining up to get their tickets validified. Then, they would get a wristband for them to use to enter the concert venue. Cars clogged every intersection as thousands more arrived every hour. People held banners, homemade shirts, glowing merch, light sticks, posters, flags. The best part was the live buskings and performances. As Edward built the city for artists, there were a lot of performers who took the chance to show their abilities to the large group of people there. Even Korean idols came there to sing and dance. Families, teenagers, influencers, college students, bikers, retirees, every kind of fan flooded the streets. Music echoed off unfinished buildings. Helicopters hovered overhead. News reporters broadcasted live segments surrounded by crowds. The entire city was packed to the brim with concertgoers. As you can see, the excitement for the concert is palpable, a reporter said as she walked along the crowd. In such a large event, we could see the security enforcement trying to keep the peace, but what about the self-proclaimed superheroes? The reporter pointed at Captain Awesome, who was eating cotton candy. Word was, they have been officially recognized by the concert city council and the organizers. The reporter added excitedly. In the backstage of the concert venue, Edward sipped on his apple juice as he watched Alex, Phineas and Billy sitting there nervously. They have pale faces, and their mouths keep getting dry. You know, you can opt out if you really can't do it, Edward told them casually. No! We will do it, Alex said abruptly. Phineas and Billy agreed with them. Edward chuckled inwardly. Then, he decided to tease them. All right then. I'll give you something to help you, but keep it a secret from everyone else. He rummaged around his pocket and took out a few pills. What's that? Phineas asked curiously. Anti-anxiety pills? Better, Edward said with a smirk. It's a mixture I make myself. It has the function of Adderall, and some anti-anxiety function, but the best thing about this is, it will completely take away your fear. It was just some vitamins. But Edward managed to trick them with that. Phineas gulped his saliva and turned to Alex cautiously. Can I take one? Alex rolled her eyes and said, Just eat it if you want to. Don't ask me. I'm not going to be held responsible if anything goes wrong. All right then. Phineas bravely took one pill and ate it. It tastes like orange. Really? Billy took one too and ate it. It really does taste like orange. Alex was hesitating for a while before she finally gave up. Damn it! Peer pressure. She took one and ate it. Edward activated his manjikyu slightly, and increased their belief that the pill would take away their fears. Just like a placebo, it worked because they believed it would. The crowd went wild as the time for the concert to start was nearing. There was a countdown on every screen in 26 of the smaller stages and the main stage. 30:00, 29:59. The concert would start in half an hour. Backstage. Edward talked with his fans who received backstage passes. Angela, how's your mother? Lucy, you have finished your degree? Congratulations. Jamie, I hope you will get the valedictorian this year. His fans squealed as he spoke to them using their first name, and also from the fact that he still remembered them from past fan meetings. Edward could name every single one of the fans who came to meet him. Their admiration for him increased even though it was at the maximum level already. Then, it was a young man's turn to get backstage and greet Edward. Edward realized who he was as he saw him with a group of friends last night. Hello, Mr. Edward Newgate. I'm a huge fan of yours. Can I shake your hand? The young man asked. Who are you? Edward asked curiously. Oh, that's pretty rude of me. My name is Eric. The nerdy-looking man introduced himself with a nervous laugh. He was still holding his hands out for Edward to shake. See, Eric. Not that I don't want to shake your hand, but I'm pretty sure you're not someone who the backstage pass belongs to. Edward smiled, but his tone was serious. Eric was slightly taken aback. Well, I won this at a bet, in a bet. No, you didn't. Edward interjected. You stole it from Melinda. She's very sad about it, and she even cried. I have to give her another pass to comfort her. Edward poured a glass of water for himself. He swirled it and said, For the meet and greet, I made sure to only meet my biggest fans. People who have given me an incredible amount of support that I'm really grateful for. Eric swallowed his saliva. He laughed nervously and said, I'm sorry for stealing it. I'll go now, but please, can I just get one handshake? I'm really your fan. And if you have replaced the pass, then doesn't it mean there's no problem? I guess. Edward shrugged. His eyes were a little amused. He walked to Eric and shook his hand. Eric grinned mischievously, but then, his face turned confused. This usually works. Edward played along and said, What? Your copy ability doesn't work on me? That's disappointing. It really is disappointing. What copy ability? Eric laughed nervously. He met Edward's eyes, and his face turned pale. Realizing he was caught, he immediately tried to run, but Wu Jin appeared from the ceiling and held a dagger at Eric's neck. Jean! Come on! He tried to copy my appearance to pick up girls. That isn't a crime punishable by death. Edward said casually and sat on the armrest of a couch. Wu Jin muttered coldly. It is to me. Wait, man. Eric stammered. I don't have any copy ability. Really? I just want to shake his hand. Jean. Let him go. He's not bad, just very lacking in imagination. Edward muttered casually. Wu Jin only let him go after he escorted Eric out of the backstage area. As Wu Jin returned, he asked, What do you mean he lacks imagination? That bothers you? Edward was surprised. I thought you would just stay silent as usual. It's fine if you don't want to tell me. No. I will tell you, Edward said with excitement. It's the first time we're going to hang out. Why don't you have a seat? I'll leave now, Jean said with a dark face. Edward chortled and said, Fine. I'll simplify things. His copy ability allows him to copy people's appearance and voice. Simply put, he's a shapeshifter. But until now, he used his ability to change into celebrities and broke into their houses. Then he stole their panties, only panties. Nothing else, and left. Wu Jin grimaced in confusion and a little bit bewilderment. Edward laughed and said, "That's why I said he's unimaginative." "Oh wait. Or does it mean he's really creative?" He paused for a few seconds. "Well, tossing that aside, if I have a shape-shifting skill like he does, I would go find a government official and infiltrate them." Edward tilted his head slightly. "Even better if I was under a dictator's administration. Slowly climb up, find more important people to copy, and finally, replace the dictator and have complete control of the country." Wu Jin narrowed his eyes at Edward suspiciously. "You said you'll only use the shapeshifter ability?" he asked. Edward chuckled and said, "I am. The rest is just some skills that I could learn to do." Wu Jin sighed and whispered, "No one can do that except for you." Since the concert was going to start any minute now, Edward finished the first backstage meet and greet before going on stage. Usually, the concert would be opened by some new artists. But Edward has promised his fans to open it on the first day. It also eased up a lot of pressure from the new artists since they didn't have to face 1 million people alone. Edward met with Georgie Cooper and CC Cooper for the last meeting. George shook Edward's hand and said, "I believe you know who I am." "Yeah, Georgie. How's Mary doing? She should come over sometimes." "My grandma is here, they can be friends with each other," Edward said with a friendly tone. Georgie just smiled and said, "I wanted to tell you to call me George, but for some reason, hearing Georgie just made a lot of memories bubble up. I tend to do that to people," Edward said with a smirk. "And Cece, you look just like your mother." Cece blushed slightly and brushed her hair behind her ear. Georgie spoke with a thick Texan accent, but Cece didn't have that. "I thought you were just an extraordinary singer for me to be infatuated with, but you even helped my dad and my uncle bury the hatchet. My family is indebted to you. Edward, just say the word, and I will return the favor. Anything you want." "Okay. We should stop bothering him. He has a concert to go to too." Georgie covered his daughter's mouth before she could finish speaking. Edward waved at them with a smile on his face. Suddenly, Cece broke free from Georgie's grip and rushed towards him. She hugged him and said, "You're the best person in the whole history of mankind. Cece! Come on! Don't be bothering him," Georgie said with exasperation. Cece sniffed deeply, absorbing herself in Edward's scent. Her dad had to pry her away from him. "Remember, Edward! I'll do anything." "Cece!" Georgie scolded her and took her away. Edward laughed out loud, and Annie came to his room. "Edward, we're ready for you." "All right then. Let's go start this concert." The crowd was going insane from the excitement. Suddenly, the sky darkened. The drones which were standing by the sky began projecting an image at the sky. It was a road. The crowd turned their heads up to watch the opening. The beats of Believer, Imagine Dragon, shook the entire crowd. "Look!" Cece pointed to the sky. Everyone was shocked when they realized Edward was free falling from the sky, with a flaming motorcycle beneath him. "Ah!" The girls squealed in excitement, their eyes showing fanatical fervor. Edward rode his bike on the road projection. The roads were swirly, and he drove by every part of the concert venue and stages. As he drove to the center of the stage, his bike came to an abrupt stop. The crowd yelled madly, some fans fainted as they saw him. The excitement was too much for them. "Welcome, everyone, to Concert City," Edward said using a microphone, and the entire crowd lets out an earth-shattering cheers of excitement. That wraps up this part of What If Karmic Gacha system in Modern Family World. Thanks so much for listening. As always, new parts drop every 4 days, so be sure to stay tuned. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released 1 day ahead of YouTube. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and please consider supporting the original author as well. See you in the next one.